A headline from Politico for every day of January 2021. After Trump's drubbing in the courts, liberals fear a legal hangover. At least 12 GOP senators to challenge Biden's win. Trump's pressure on Georgia election officials raises legal questions. Inside McConnell's handling of Trump's election challenge. Senate GOP opposition grows to Electoral College challenge. Failed insurrection. Trump grip on GOP grassroots holds fast. Trump's existential threat. How to keep GOP in line without Twitter. Warnock win puts spotlight on Senate's shortcomings. Pelosi to move forward with impeachment if Pence doesn't act to remove Trump. House to vote Wednesday as Pelosi gets the votes to impeach Trump. This is a solemn day. Democrats move toward Trump's ouster. Impeached twice. Trump's impeachment trial crashes Biden's first 100 days. Biden warns of challenges ahead as he rolls out new vaccine plan. Trump blows up the Arizona GOP on his way out. Impeachment managers say trial is referendum on Trump ever holding office again. How Trump's fights with tech transformed Republicans' beliefs on free speech. He was the ringmaster in the demise of his own circus. Biden pledges once more to lead America away from dystopia. Republicans bludgeon Biden's big stimulus plans. Delay in power-sharing pact leaves Senate in limbo. Detroit's legal pot reticence spills over to Muslim-majority neighbor. Bipartisan group of senators pushes back on Biden COVID plan. Trump's second impeachment trial launches with questions over witnesses. Pennsylvania GOP pledges full allegiance to Trump. Democrats look to quickly move past Trump trial. For Christ's sake, watch yourself. Biden warns family over business dealings. Biden administration readies battle plan as COVID variants reach U.S. Zuckerberg's pledge to depoliticize Facebook hits grassroots movements. Trump stalks new PAC with tens of millions as he bids to retain control of GOP. A headline from every day of February 2021. Trump pollsters' campaign autopsy points damning picture of defeat. Let them take you to court. Biden dares GOP to obstruct him. House votes to speed stimulus passage after Biden meets with Dems. We've learned to love the guy. How Biden charmed the left. Biden brushes off rescue plan critics from left and right. Republicans seek to pin California's COVID-19 problem on Biden's HHS pick. Biden's vaccine and campaign hits roadblock. Not enough doses. Biden's strategy for Trump's impeachment. Sit back and STFU. Trump trial opens with gripping footage of Capitol violence. Impeachment managers directly blame insider-in-chief Trump for Capitol attack. Dems rest case against Trump warning of more attacks. Senate GOP gripped by conviction vote intrigue. Republicans voted to acquit Trump. Now he may haunt them. Senators and impeachment managers say the trial is over, but the work isn't done. Dems buzz about breakout stars of Trump's impeachment. California Democrats scramble to fight Newsom recall and close ranks. Is Cuomo wounded enough to take down? Ted fled. Cruz returns from Cancun amid Texas crisis. Manchin to oppose Tandon for OMB, imperiling major Biden nomination. The jockeying to replace Neera Tandon has begun. Dems prepare for party line House vote on Biden's pandemic bill. Neera Tanden in deeper jeopardy as 2 Republicans oppose her nomination. Capitol security officials in charge on January 6 blame Pentagon and Intel failures. Single-shot COVID-19 vaccine safe and effective. Minimum wage hikes run aground in Senate during COVID aid debate. Democrats renew push for war powers overhaul after Biden's Syria strike. CPAC puts a bullseye on China. New York City's once powerful Democratic bosses sit out mayor's race. A headline for every day of March 2021. Biden's bubble risk, a reckoning in markets as the economy recovers. Neera Tanden withdraws as Biden's budget chief pick. Cuomo harassment scandal poses fresh Me Too test for Democrats. Biden's COVID aid bill advances in Senate. Democrats and GOP tussle for Manchin's vote in frozen COVID aid debate. Schumer leads Dems to messy but major win on COVID aid. Senator Roy Blunt won't run for re-election and latest blow to GOP. Anti-filibuster liberals face a Senate math problem. House gives final okay to Biden's $1.9 trillion COVID aid plan. New York lawmakers launch Cuomo impeachment investigation. States embrace Biden's bold new vaccines promise with caution. Biden keeping Ukraine at arm's length. Beyond COVID relief, Biden invokes LBJ as Democrats aim to expand welfare state. Why Newsom still isn't getting the vaccine. How Yang charmed the right on his road to political stardom. Pelosi's push for 9/11-style Capitol riot commission stalls in political quicksand. House to pass scaled-back immigration measures as GOP support wanes. In the dark of night, Trump's interior chief snubs Murkowski on 11th hour win. Will at-home abortions make Roe v. Wade obsolete? Republican AGs take blowtorch to Biden agenda. Biden brings back family separation, this time in Mexico. This is a wake-up call. Georgia's Asian communities turn tragedy into political power. Why this moment for gun politics is different. Biden meets the press and the pandemic disappears. The green energy that might be ruining the planet. Atlanta massacre sparks a political awakening in the Korean church. Time is not on our side. Biden navigates cyber attacks without a cyber czar. Internal CDC data shows virus regaining foothold as Biden urges states to pause reopening. Biden releases first wave of judicial nominees. Infrastructure year. Dems brace for brutal slog to pass Biden's $2.5 trillion plan. A headline for every day of April 2021. Biden administration invokes Civil Rights Act to stall Texas highway widening. No defense. Gates finds few Republican allies amid investigation. Biden's green energy plans clash with pledge to create union jobs. Andrew Yang's Asian American superpower. Inside the White House plan to sell its massive infrastructure proposal. Biden faces tough choice over a battery plant in Georgia. Biden to unveil long-awaited executive action on guns. Caitlyn Jenner moves closer to California recall run. Republicans draft veteran candidates to reclaim House majority. How Biden hopes to fix the thorniest problem in housing. Trudeau government threatens Halifax Security Forum over proposed Taiwan award. Felt like a setup. WhatsApp chat, shows Gates ally scrambling to contain fallout. Biden officials bracing for possibility of weeks-long disruption to J&J vaccine supply. How Biden's team overrode the brass on Afghanistan. Democrats agonize over game theory on Biden's $2 trillion plus spending plan. A nicer version of Trump. GOP donors flock to DeSantis. North Carolina primary field builds with or without Laura Trump. Border weed. How the hometown of tater tots became a cannabis capital. Capitol riot defendants win unlikely Dem champions as they face harsh detainment. Derek Chauvin convicted of murdering George Floyd. Chauvin trial political fallout. Groundbreaking verdict, same fault lines. CDC reassigns official who drew spotlight for pandemic warning. CDC panel endorses use of Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine. Why Biden's Armenian genocide declaration really is a big deal. House GOP retreat to Florida fraught with peril. Which states are gaining House seats in 2022 and which are losing out? Biden's 100 days has gone smoothly. Does the summer curse await? Biden's tax hikes are about to collide with reality. Mark Kelly bucks Biden on the border. Caitlyn Jenner's recall campaign goes silent in first week. A headline for every day of May 2021. McAuliffe opponents struggle to break through in Virginia. The cannabis industry's next war. How strong should its weed be? Congress's top tax man won't be a blank check for Biden. It really fucks the other 24 wannabes. How Facebook could give Trump a huge boost. Trumpland thought he'd get back on Facebook. Now they're anxious and scrambling. MAGA world pan-Stefanik. Job surprise triggers battle over federal aid. Biden plan could save California high-speed rail if state leaders can ever unite. They just launched a war. Critics urge Biden to step up as violence spreads in Israel. Stefanik faces first public house conservative foe in her push to replace Cheney. Death by 1,000 cuts. How the House GOP took down Cheney. Riot revisionism, hallway aggression, squashed alliances. The House nears a Cold War. The world's most powerful local paper. Democrats embrace a tougher tack towards Israel as violence flares. Feeding frenzy. Florida's big push to remake gambling. Biden wants calm in the Mid-East. So much for peace. National money floods New York mayor's race. GOP defections over January 6 Commission deliver rebuke to McCarthy. Democrats struggle to influence Biden's foreign policy in the Mideast and beyond. Conservatives lash out at the military over woke policies. A Biden-friendly economist is creating a headache for president's spending plans. Vaccine success could undercut Biden's multi-billion-dollar school testing plans. FEMA program for COVID-19 victims stumbles over death certificate data problems. The harsh spotlight on black women leading big cities. GOP ire imperils bipartisan plan to confront China. Biden mocks Republicans for promoting recovery plan they voted against. Pretty damn scary. Failure of January 6 Commission exposes Senate wounds. Policy hackathon. Can public transit recover from COVID-19? We know occupation, the long history of Black Americans' solidarity with Palestinians. The surprising Honolulu origins of the national fight over same-sex marriage. A headline for every day of June 2021. Biden in Tulsa says, great nations come to terms with their dark sides. Hackers are making Americans' lives worse at an awkward time for Biden. Progressives to Biden. The GOP is playing you, Joe. Facebook wanted to escape the Trump trap. So much for that. Why both parties are so fixated on a nonpartisan Texas mayor's race. What my COVID-19 vaccine saga taught me about the U.S. healthcare system. The left hates Joe Manchin. His fellow Senate Dems are staying quiet. Biden ends infrastructure talks with Senate GOP, starts engaging bipartisan group. Biden world on bipartisan infrastructure talks. Little harm in still trying. Dem leaders look to de-escalate Omar drama. Barr distances himself from Trump-era subpoenas of Democratic lawmakers. World leaders grapple with how tough to be on China. Biden heads to NATO amid friction over Afghanistan withdrawal. Biden calls Putin a worthy adversary ahead of meeting. Not friends, few benefits. Biden to take calculated risk in Putin summit. Biden to Putin. Help me help you. GOP crushes Manchin's hopes for elections compromise. Biden has big fears about voting restrictions and finds few tools to deal with it. As pandemic subsides, businesses push Congress for one more bailout. Maine's mom-and-pop weed scene sweats corporate gentrification. Maya Wiley says she should be mayor of New York. Former City Hall colleagues aren't so sure. Senate Republicans block Dems' sweeping elections reform bill. Congressional negotiators and White House agree on infrastructure framework. Wine, watermarks, and a farmer's nudge. How the infrastructure deal got done. GOP infrastructure negotiators fume over Biden's handling of their deal. 6 years after same-sex marriage, now what? GOP struggles with diversity test on powerful finance panel. Federal court tosses antitrust suits against Facebook in huge blow to DC's fight with tech. Adams stays ahead, Garcia surges to second, but election board admits counting discrepancy. Republicans go all in on immigration as a political weapon. A headline for every day of July 2021. Why an indictment of the Trump Organization really is an indictment of Trump. U.S. job gains surge, easing pressure on Biden over labor market. Clock's ticking for California recall candidates trying to oust Newsom. Virus lab leak theory dogs Democrats eager to keep focus on Trump's COVID failings. Skeptics question if Biden's new science agency is a breakthrough or more bureaucracy. How Putin could jam up Biden's post-Afghanistan plans. Could a school board fight over critical race theory help turn Virginia red? Biden puts faith behind Afghan troops while defending U.S. withdrawal. Biden takes calculated political risk on Afghanistan withdrawal. Plugging Obamacare's biggest hole poses dilemma for Democrats. Opinion: the Democrats need a reality check. Potentially a death sentence. White House goes off on vaccine fearmongers. New concern for Biden: could Larry Summers be right about inflation? Florida Dems to Biden: don't blow golden opportunity on Cuba. Flooding kills dozens in Germany and Belgium. House Republicans close money gap with majority at stake. Frustrated industry groups see Biden's COVID czar as obstacle to reopening travel. Democrats look to crush states' highway habit. It's ceding a lot of terrain to us. Biden goes populist with little pushback. Biden tiptoes around Fox News amid pushback on COVID vaccine disinfo. Republicans scramble to secure infrastructure support ahead of failed vote. Biden's obsession with scoring a bipartisan deal suddenly looks quite doable. GOP sees widening rift over promoting COVID shots. Californians tired of doing their part during triple-digit heat. Cuomo said AG probe would clear him. Now his aides say it's political. Cheney and McCarthy war of words heats up over January 6 investigation. Biden wants Putin to behave, so why not go after his money? Trump tries to sabotage the Biden infrastructure deal. Florida officials defy DeSantis as infections spike. Complete disaster inside the Biden team's chaotic bid to evacuate Afghan interpreters. Biden's new mask guidance too little too late for parts of the country, officials say. A headline for every day of August 2021. No hangovers or beer bellies. Cannabis firms try to woo booze drinkers. Schumer weaponizes August recess to advance Biden agenda. AG says Cuomo sexually harassed multiple women, broke state and federal law. Democrats prepare to rope GOP into political cliff dive over debt limit. How the pandemic ate millions of jobs in American restaurants. Vaccine demand jumps in states pummeled by Delta variant. Senate infrastructure bill slowed in last lap by lone Republican. Frontline service workers left out of the vaccine mandate trend. Guatemala is key to Biden's migrant policy. Its corruption is worsening. The power of 10, inside the unlikely partnership that sealed an infrastructure win. Children's hospitals are swamped with COVID patients, and it may only get worse. I'm not gonna get it. A neighborhood refuses vaccines despite COVID's wreckage. Women in New York politics say Cuomo was just the beginning. Suffering landlords are Washington's new eviction problem. I believed in the U.S., but that turned out to be such a big mistake. I stand squarely behind my decision. Biden holds firm on Afghanistan drawdown. Just watching with horror. A photographer in Afghanistan on the eve of collapse. The U.S. plans to offer booster shots next month. Some health experts are wary. Trump era ends and union tactics may be in for a makeover. We're making the same commitment. Biden vows to evacuate all Afghan allies seeking safety from the Taliban. The temperature in Saigon is 105 and rising. White House to House Dems, drug price plan is a winning issue. Pelosi floats offer to moderates to avoid budget clash. Biden sticks to August 31st withdrawal from Afghanistan. January 6 investigators include Trump White House in first document requests. At least 4 U.S. troops killed in ISIS attacks on Kabul airport. January 6 investigators demand records from social media companies. Guidance is to just do it. Biden greenlights additional strikes on ISIS-K. Meth, vanilla, and gulags. How China has overtaken the South Pacific one island at a time. As Biden ends mission in Afghanistan, a refugee backlash looms at home. White House says pulling troops best way to help Americans still in Afghanistan. A headline from every day of September 2021. I love him more than I hate Ted Cruz. Virus threatens to slam labor market as jobless aid expires. 2 senior Dem centrists send Pelosi demands for $3.5 trillion megabill. I know firsthand how ugly a wartime evacuation really is. A private matter. Joe Biden's very public clash with his own church. Why we can't turn the corner on COVID. Booted from class. Colleges penalize unvaccinated students as Delta surges. Biden moves to boot Trump loyalists from advisory boards. Biden to expand vaccine requirements to frontline health workers. It's about time. Biden puts the screws on the unvaccinated. How 9/11 shaped Joe Biden's approach to the politics of national tragedy. Policy hackathon. How to crisis-proof our food supply. Blinken lays blame on Trump as he defends messy withdrawal from Afghanistan. Biden COVID team sees vaccine efficacy waning in unpublished data from Israel. Lindsey Graham one-man PR shop for the Afghan resistance. Max Rose plants the seeds for a return to Congress. Tough Biden calls on Trump executive privilege headed for January 6 probe. Lawyers, race, and money. Illinois' messy weed experiment. Dems vow to go the distance as September problems pile up. Dems rope debt to government funding, lassoing GOP into clash. Democrats reveal shutdown and debt patch that's doomed in Senate. GOP grasps in vain for unity on Afghan refugee message. Democrats hatch secret pay-for-it plan and bid for unity on spending dreams. CDC morale plummets as pandemic drags on. Pelosi goes all in with domestic agenda on the line. Some cannabis firms see disaster in federal legalization. Republicans block bill to avert shutdown and lift debt ceiling. Top generals contradict Biden, say they urged him not to withdraw from Afghanistan. Pelosi diffuses debt standoff with centrists, turns to rest of crises. Congress averts shutdown, sends 9-week funding patch to Biden's desk. A headline for every day of October 2021. Biden faces fractious Dems with his agenda on the line. Progressives rallied behind Biden's agenda. Now he has to sell them on a compromise. Trauma and Trump make Asian American voters a more cohesive bloc, new poll finds. Top state advisor leaves post, rips Biden's use of Trump-era Title 42. Whistleblower to Senate, don't trust Facebook. McConnell offers to limit the pain as Dems face another debt filibuster. Big Tobacco comes out swinging against Biden's Build Back Better bill. White House waives executive privilege for some Trump-era docs sought by January 6 panel. Dems fear Sinema's still not there on a prescription drug plan. Are we blowing this? McAuliffe and friends plead for online cash. The president's decline is alarming. Biden trapped in coronavirus malaise. House Budget Chair John Yarmuth announces retirement. House and Senate Democrats at odds over whether to slash paid leave plan. Redistricting forces 2 GOP incumbents together in West Virginia. Trump allies eye election law push should he be reelected. Virginia is for worriers. Governor race poses real risk to Dem agenda. Democrats find their anti-Rubio warrior in Val Demings. Biden quietly deciding how to restart student loan payments. House hopes to defy history in criminal contempt case against Bannon. Sinema blows up Dems' plans to tax high earners and corporations. Dem divisions linger in last lap of spending talks. Dems see a $1 trillion plus deal within reach, but not until next week. California's legal weed industry can't compete with illicit market. Georgia Dems wait with fear and angst for help from D.C. State Department tested diplomats for directed energy exposure years before telling Congress. The curious case of Nancy Mace. A fear grows in Trump world. Have we gone too conspiratorial? Fractious Dems struggle to unite around $1.75 trillion megabill. Kinzinger, retiring from Congress, vows broader fight nationwide against Trumpism. Trump-era tensions set to cool under U.S.-EU deal. The suburban Virginia bloc that explains how Democrats might be about to blow it. A headline for every day of November 2021. Kavanaugh and Barrett air skepticism of Texas abortion law. Not it. Democrats dodge blame for stalled agenda as McAuliffe teeters. Dems keep butting heads after Virginia shellacking. Manchin will get last word even as House races to pass megabill. House Dems throw new curveball. Infrastructure vote, wait on party line megabill. Rural Democrats stare into abyss after Virginia. Democrats just got their clocks cleaned. No one seems ready to change anything. January 6th committee subpoenas Trump allies linked to D.C. war room. Biden made huge promises to HBCUs. Can he sell its students on compromise? The climate activists stealing big oil's playbook. Cities with empty offices see new room to expand housing. Emails reveal new details of Trump White House interference in CDC COVID planning. Dems plan to limit drug price inflation faces test in Seattle. Biden's successor chatter grows and Harris isn't scaring off anyone. Biden finally gets the big effing deal signing ceremony of his own. Secretary Pete careening toward a GOP buzzsaw over infrastructure cash. House set to punish Gosar for violent video depicting killing of Ocasio-Cortez. This is about power. DeSantis gets big wins ahead of 2022. Bill Hagerty embraces diplomatic roots. I'm gonna be here longer than Joe Biden. Whose job is it to prevent Armageddon? No ground for cockiness. Tough love for U.S. at pro-democracy conference. Biden renames Powell to lead Fed, risking the left's wrath. Biden acts to lower fuel prices with help from GOP. All three defendants guilty on murder charges in Ahmaud Arbery case. How your Thanksgiving turkey became a proxy in the latest political war. Biden admin announces travel ban for South Africa and 7 other countries, citing new variant. New COVID variant triggers urgent moment for Biden health team. Trump's Senate picks stumble out of the gate. Biden says Omicron a cause for concern, not a cause for panic. Appeals court judges poised to reject Trump's effort to withhold January 6 documents. A headline for every day of December 2021. Republicans feud over vaccine shutdown fight. Biden is looking at blowout growth even as COVID clouds the outlook again. Biden embraces his one-time foe, Walmart. A real fight for our existence. Massachusetts GOP spirals in Baker exit. Bob Dole, longtime Senate leader and 1996 GOP presidential nominee, dies at 98. The dramatic irony of Biden's foreign policy picks. McConnell secures GOP support for new debt strategy. Tish James is running for New York governor, mostly from her office. This call never happened. Ex-DC Guard leaders push back as an internal Army report on January 6 emerges. SCOTUS allows clinics challenge to Texas abortion ban to proceed. The demise of America's one-time capital of black wealth. Fortenberry indictment raises questions about the FBI's tactics. Manchin raises red flags over Dems' agenda ahead of Biden talk. Senate moves forward on raising debt ceiling by $2.5 trillion. Quite hopeful, abortion pill decision could reshape reproductive health war. In Senate that sucks, Dems wait for Biden's word. Dems trudge toward 2022 with Biden's megabill reeling. Cruz secures vote on Russian pipeline sanctions and deal with Schumer. White House lights up Manchin after he crushes Biden's megabill. Manchin to Dems, redo the whole thing, maybe I'll vote for it. Dems' 2022 prospects hit with 1-2 blow on economy. Hospitals grapple with Omicron and legal brawl over vaccinating staff. Republicans are trying to pin the big lie on Stacey Abrams. Biden's about to adopt a policy that could hurt Dems even more with rural voters. 21 masks that capture the politics of 2021. Big Tech's next monopoly game, building the car of the future. Price tag to vaccinate the world, $7 billion, and the U.S. is already coming up short. Which 2024 candidates won 2021? He's a press guy, I'm not. How Harry Reid shaped Chuck Schumer. The moral pugilism of Harry Reid. I predicted the culture wars would end in 2021. Oops.